Every year, it feels like there is a crop of transfers that come into Knoxville, and there's a lot of excitement surrounding a ton of them. Honestly, there's a lot of excitement surrounding the majority of them. But there's one guy we're going to talk about that it feels like Josh Heupel and the Tennessee Volunteers pulled off highway robbery by getting him in Knoxville. It was a pretty decent transfer portal haul this offseason. Wasn't as big, I think, as I thought it was going to be going into the offseason, but you still added 7 total people at many key positions. Obviously, Joey Aguilar is going to be the biggest name out of that group because he'll be competing for your QB1 spot. But there's a lot of guys that have gotten really great reviews and rave reviews from coaches and players so far during training camp. But one of those 7 that you just saw seems like he's going to be an absolute steal. I'm going to tell you who that is and why that is in just a couple of seconds. Before that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I've been looking at the numbers, okay? We haven't gotten over 50 subs on a video in a week. And frankly, Vol Nation, that's not good enough for us here at Tennessee Football Talk. So if you have not yet, join us right now for daily coverage of your Tennessee Volunteers, all for 100% free. All you got to do is lock us in, hit that subscribe button. Alrighty, it is time to talk about Colton Hood, the cornerback transfer from Colorado, who actually spent his first year in the NCAA at Auburn, then played only a couple games for the Tigers, transferred to Colorado, and now entered the transfer portal again and has ended up at Tennessee. He's better known as being the cornerback that picked off whoever it was throwing the ball in the Blurgate video when everybody thought Tennessee's media blurred out the quarterback, but it just happened to be Miles Kitzelman in a red non-contact jersey. I digress. When it came to Colton Hood, I would almost guarantee it that a lot of you guys didn't really pay attention much to his addition in the transfer portal. And I don't blame you. He wasn't even a top 40 cornerback, was not even a top 400 player when he came to Tennessee, when he entered the transfer portal, okay? He's 6'1", 190 pounds, redshirt sophomore last year with the Colorado Buffaloes, 24 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 2 interceptions, 6 pass deflections. So he was pretty active with Colorado, but not as active as a guy you'd think that I'm so very excited about. And it seems like from this point you're watching, you're probably saying, Joey, there seems to be nothing special about this guy, right? Well, that's where you're wrong. Because so far in training camp, he's been impressing everybody. I'm talking Coach Heupel. I'm talking defensive coordinator Tim Banks as well. You're going to hear from them in just a second. But I want to hear from you guys. We're talking transfers. Who's the best transfer portal addition in UT history? I know that's a big question. It's a loaded question. Right off the bat, my mind wants to tell me Hendon Hooker because, you know, he led us to the best season that we had in almost a decade and a half to that point. But it could be somebody different that you feel. You let me know in the comment section down below. This is from the head coach talking about Colton Hood. He's smart. He's accountable. He's really mature. He's got some leadership traits that I think will continue to show up more and more each day, each block of our season, and ultimately our off-season too. He's got position flexibility. He's got great understanding of the game. He retains information really well, and he's got experience. So he came in here learning what it takes to be a Vol, what a great teammate looks like here. And I'm excited to see him continue to grow on the field and off the field inside of this program. He's had a really, really good camp so far, like we've talked about. And it's really hard for a guy to come in here, hit the transfer portal, come into a new place. He's got to learn a lot of different things, right? What it takes to be a Tennessee Volunteer. He's got to learn the new defensive playbook, the signals, the calls, where he's going to be, right? Coach Heupel said he's got a lot of positional versatility, and so I could see him playing on the outside, playing the nickel. Wouldn't be surprised they put him at safety for a play or two. But I feel like Colton Hood and his development and what Coach Heupel has said about him so far is really important to this team, given what happened to Jermod McCoy and the fact that somebody's going to have to step up. And I don't want to say be the cornerback one for this team because I think that's Ricky Gibson's role with Jermod McCoy being out. But someone's got to fill in Ricky Gibson's role, right, and be the CB too. Jermod McCoy is going to be a big loss for however long he's gone. Tore ACL January 15th, 2025. So not 2024, this year, earlier in the year. 12th best prospect in the 2026 NFL Draft. This guy is going to be a stud. He gave you a lot of really great moments last year. Of course, the one that stands out, the pick in the end zone against Ryan Williams and the Alabama Crimson Tide. But Josh Heupel spoke to the media, and for a guy like Jermod McCoy, he said there's no real timetable for when he returns. Now, the good news is he's ahead of schedule with his rehab. He's doing very, very good. He's crossing off a lot of those benchmarks. But still, guys, he tore his ACL on January 15th. I would be absolutely shocked to see him anytime in September. So you look at this depth chart, and you got a lot of talent there with the top three, but one of those guys is going to be gone, and now it's up to a guy like Colton Hood, a guy who not many people are looking at or excited about in the transfer portal, to come in and take over that spot and be a guy who isn't a liability at that corner position. So far in training camp, he hasn't. What is your confidence level in Colton Hood? Scale it for me 1 to 100 in the comment section down below. 100, you're saying the most confident you've ever been in anybody. 1, you're saying, not really much at all. You let me know yours in the comment section. I feel like mine's sitting about around a 70. I think the biggest thing for me is he's a guy who has a ton of experience. He's played over 16 games in college football. Now he's done that for 2 different schools. I get that. Hopefully he doesn't make that 3 different schools by this time next year and continues to hit the transfer portal after every single year. But regardless, that's really, really good experience. He's had to play some really, really good players. He played for the best cornerback in the history of the National Football League last year, Deion Sanders, played with Travis Hunter, the Heisman winner. So he knows that he's gotten some really, really good coaching from people he's just surrounded himself by. And Tim Banks, the defensive coordinator, is super impressed with him as well. He's super hungry, but he's really smart. And like I said, just the competitive nature that he brings to the room, obviously he's got to do it here at UT. But based on everything we've seen this summer, again, how he's fit in with everybody, how hard he's worked, we have no doubt that he'll be able to help us in some capacity. And everything that we're hearing so far and everything that we're seeing sounds incredibly positive on how Colton Hood is playing as a Tennessee Volunteer and just kind of how he's transitioned into being a Tennessee Volunteer. For a defensive coordinator to have confidence in a guy and to have depth in that position, I think is a really, really big thing. Because I think when you look back on the last couple of years and the history of that position, there's been some good players, right? I think of guys like Alontae Taylor Jr. Obviously, Jermod McCoy from last year comes to mind. Bryce Thompson comes to mind as well. You've had good players, but I don't know if you've had a ton of depth. And it seems like even when Jermod McCoy does come back from injury, Colton Hood's going to be a great depth piece to have for this roster. And it's really, really big because this roster faces some really, really, really good wide receivers. One of them very, very early as well was Zachariah Branch and the Georgia Bulldogs. Ryan Williams, you got Branch who just transferred to Georgia from USC. Trey Wilson with Florida. You got a lot of really good guys who are going to be high draft picks one day, okay? Especially Ryan Williams. You need to have corners that can hold their own against that kind of talent. And if Hood can hold it down until McCoy is back and 100% fully healthy, I'll be more than happy with the job he's done. I feel like in the transfer portal, everything they wanted out of him was just to be the guy, to be the stopgap from when McCoy is healthy or hurt to when he's healthy. And if he does that, and if he gives us really good minutes, maybe a pop play every here and then, I think that's all we could ask for Colton Hood. That's it for today's show. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us right here on Tennessee Football Talk. Make sure you got me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. You can find those links to both those in my comments and description on today's video. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you are, we'll see you next time.